Mr. Ives, you talked about something you caught in the Defense Department, people stealing money. Was that lady that stole $106 million? No,
sir.
It was not. Okay. Now, for my first question to the tax court's nominees, I don't want you to answer today unless you can answer this question with full knowledge of what the law is. So if you can't, then answer these questions in writing. But I want to start with this opening. I authored important updates to the IRS Whistleblower program, which included allowing whistleblowers to appeal award determinations to the tax court. More recently, I've introduced legislation with Chairman Wyden, Senators Wicker and Cardin to, among other provisions, beef up anonymity protection for whistleblowers appearing before the tax court. Whistleblowers are often take on great professional and personal risks in coming forward. So this is the question. Do you agree that protecting the anonymity of whistleblowers before the tax courts is vital to maintaining the well-functioning IRS whistleblower program? Start with you, Ms. Jenkins.
Thank you for the question, Senator. I do agree that in our system of involuntary tax compliance, it is very important to protect whistleblowers and the role that they serve in ensuring that we collect our tax dollars. I would need to consider more the countervailing factors in terms of privacy and anonymity of whistleblowers in order to answer your specific question.
Okay, Mr. Landy.
Thank you, Senator. I certainly agree with the comments Ms. Jenkins made. I have not seen your legislation you referenced, but certainly whistleblowers play an important role in our tax compliance system, as Ms. Jenkins said, and I would certainly believe that that is an issue that we can make sure that they have the ability to present their cases in a fair and impartial manner before our court.
Mr. Way.
Thank you for the question. I definitely agree with my fellow nominees and with the direction of your question, which is that whistleblowers are important, and it's important not just what they have to say, but to protect them so that new whistleblowers will not feel deterred from coming forward. With respect to your specific legislation that you've introduced, I'm not familiar with it, so I would have to review it and then respond in writing.
Okay, by the way, Ms. Jenkins, you're taking the place of Elizabeth Paris. And she worked for this committee a long time, and her trophy she carried around was a well-worn tax code, and she always had it with her. Okay, Mr. Ives. On March the 11th, 2024, I wrote all 74 inspectors generals requesting that they conduct a review of their agency's non-disclosure policies and similar agreements. I asked for that review to ensure compliance with the federal anti-gag law. Now that is law today. That law requires that government policies and agreements include the right to report wrongdoing to Congress and an Inspector General and the Office of Special Counsel. On May the 10th, 2024, the acting Treasury Inspector General found 2 agreements not in compliance with the law and that the Treasury Department is working to update them. So my question to you, if confirmed, would you commit to ensuring all Treasury non-disclosure policies and similar agreements include the anti-gag provision that's required by law, including the 2 agreements identified by the acting Inspector General? And then a follow-up, would you also commit to ensuring Treasury employees are fully informed of their rights to report allegations of waste, fraud, and abuse?
The answer to both questions is yes, Senator.
Thank you. Now also for you, an independent Inspector General is critical to effectively and objectively carrying out functions free from bias and interference. Inspector General must also keep Congress fully informed about the problems and deficiencies. So from that respect, I should have said I just associate my remarks with the chairman and ranking member. So a question to you, if confirmed, will you commit to providing independent and objective oversight? You probably already answered that question, but I'd like to have it answered again. And will you also commit to keeping Congress fully informed of agency wrongdoing, recommendations of corrective action, and Treasury implementation?
Yes, I will, Senator.
Okay, thank you. Now, to all tax court nominees, if you're confirmed to the tax court, you will hear cases involving many different types of taxpayers, ranging from large corporations to small businesses and individuals. Regardless of who might appear before you and what the issue might be, do you pledge to apply tax code as written by Congress and not attempt to legislate in your capacity as a judge on the tax court?
Yes, I do, Senator.
Yes, Senator.
Yes, Senator.
Okay. And my last question to you folks, the tax court is important since it allows petitioners to challenge and assess deficiency before having to pay that amount to the IRS. Many petitioners go to tax court, have little experience working through the dispute with the IRS, and may even represent themselves, following up on the question that Crapo asked. Without giving them an unfair advantage, how will you ensure that all petitioners get their day in court?
Senator, I would ensure that they're aware of the resources that may be available to them for support, and I would also ensure that they are aware of the processes going forward, and that they have in me a fair and open ear.
Okay.
Senator, as I said earlier, I would continue with my current processes of contacting the petitioners before trial to make sure they understand when, where their trial will be conducted, communicate what issues are at issue, and to make sure they understand the procedure and process moving forward.
And like my fellow nominees, I would try to make sure that particularly self-represented taxpayers have an opportunity to access volunteer resources or pro bono resources so that they can get representation if they choose. And if they appear before me and are self-represented, I would try to have some sort of pretrial conference or something, as my fellow nominee suggested, so that they are aware of what what will happen and how best to proceed.
Time of the gentleman's expired.
Congratulations to all of you.
And thank you very much, Senator Grassley, for asking the questions about the whistleblowers, and it's an honor for me to be your co-chair. Senator Warren.